Hello there, I'm Joelle Gentry, and I'm going to demonstrate for you the top 5 things that make a teacher professional. 1 second here, get all propped up. Sorry about the lampshade right there. Okay, there we go. The first thing is tone of voice. You'll always want to make sure that you have a good tone of voice when addressing the following: students, administrators, and parents. It's all part of the gig, I tell you. I will demonstrate such actions in ELA. You see the little books I drew there. I'm not really much of an artist, but you know, I try. So, we're looking at cats. So, I asked my students why there is an apostrophe between the T and the S. Then all of a sudden, I hear some of my students aren't even paying attention to me. They're all, "Teacher, so-and-so is doing this to me!" And then, so I look at the tattletale directly and I say, "Does that matter right now? What are you supposed to be looking at?" And then they look at me, this particular tattletale, and the person being told on, they look at me and they're like, "Oh, I guess we're supposed to be focusing on you." And that actually was a good response. I didn't have to do much after that, which was pretty nice. So, I'm able to continue with my lessons. And I repeat myself again. What is the purpose of having an apostrophe between the T and S? And then, all of a sudden, there was Johnny. He raises his hand. I know. I say, "Well, what is it?" "Because it's a possessive noun." I say, "Very good, Johnny, that's awesome." Now notice, I only raised my voice when I was being enthusiastic, and my voice was very calm when I was addressing the behavior issue. And that is a very good skill to develop as a teacher. You want to use your voice to be really excited when you need to be excited, but try not to yell unless things get really out of hand and you have no choice. So that leads us to our second one. Be active, be active, be active, be active, be active. I'll show you what not to do, okay? Come here. See my stool? It's a nice stool. I like my stool. It's definitely fun to sit on this stool. However, it's also not professional because I'm just sitting here. And do you think a really good teacher gets paid to sit here? No. You want to monitor. Walk around. See how I'm walking around? Walk around and monitor your students. For example, say that they are working on a math problem. Let's go check this out. So, sorry, I had to erase this real quickly here. All right. We have an empty whiteboard. So, I am asking my students, I would like you to create your own. So, I have a student named Susie. She raises her hand. "Teacher, teacher!" I go, "Yes, I would like to create a problem." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." So, I create a problem, and we're all going to solve it together as a class. "Susie, what problem are we doing?" "We are going to do 2a equals 4. So I write this down, and all the students have little whiteboards that look just like this, as well as a pen and an eraser, which I don't have in this video, but just pretend it's there. So we take this problem and we solve it. And now, since I've asked Susie to create a problem, I'm going to call on another student. Let's go with Jordan. "Yes, Miss G, I would like you to solve this for me. What is the first step we do?" He goes, "Well, you have to divide by 2. I say, "On both sides?" He goes, "Yes." And I say, absolutely, that's correct. So we take 2, divide by both sides, and then I call on another person. And her name is Anna. Anna, what do we do now? She goes, these cancel out. And I say, exactly right. They cancel out. And then I ask another student, let's go with Sean. Sean, why do we cancel these out? Because 2 over 2 equals 1. And 1A is the same as A. Absolutely right. That's how we isolate the variable. And then I call on another student, George. George, why is there a 2 on both sides and not 1? Because what you do to one side, you must always do to the other. I say, that's absolutely correct. So then we take 4 divided by 2, and then we end up with 2. Sorry about my bad handwriting there. We circle it. I always circle my answers because I think that's a good practice. So we are done with that. Notice I was actively involved. I wasn't just sitting there on my comfortable stool, even though it's Monday. We've all been there. And we would rather sit on our stools half the days. But you know what? That takes all the fun out of being a teacher. You gotta be there for your students. Third thing we are going to be working on is technique. Everyone knows that a good teacher shows good technique. And I am going to be demonstrating it in one of my favorite subjects of all, which is music. I have my baby here. Her name is Jasmine, as you can tell. At this point in the semester, I've taught all my students the basics, so there's really no need to go over it. They already know how to play an A chord, which sounds like this. So, I show them that there is something that makes all the difference in the world. You want to make sure that your fingers are close to the fret. So, I play them the difference between that and that. So then they listen, and then they hear the difference and how one sound is clearer than the other. And that is an example of good guitar technique. So moving on, I'm kind of running out of time here. We are going to move on to general rules of thumb. General rules of thumb. I even drew a thumb there, just for kicks. Professional attire. You definitely want to make sure that you dress professionally before going to any job. See, I'm wearing proper attire to a typical job. Depends on your school too. Some schools have different cultures and different dress codes even for teachers, but this is pretty typical and standard, so it's what I wear. Last but not least, we have body language. And this is sort of similar to what I was talking about earlier about being active, but you always want to make sure that you're not like hunched over like this, or constantly wearing a frown, or look like you're in the verge of tears, even if you are. Or even try not to smile too much because people will then think you're just fake and you really don't care. No. You want to make sure that your facial expressions are sincere and that the students know that you care about them, and also that you keep your posture looking well. And as you're circulating around the room, you want to make sure that you mean business. Give them eye contact and let them know that you're really watching. Last but not least, go out there and rock it. All teachers rock.